Ooh. Yeah. Is that what it is? Is somebody got their mic on? Speaking of that, huh? All right, I just turned it down from here. No, somebody still got their mic on. Turn my mic up. Is that what it was? All right, shalom, everyone. Now, people distracted. Shalom, everyone. There we go.
Shalom.
All right. Who? All right. Shaka Khan. We've been up here 5 weeks. We finally getting done. Finally. Huh? Huh? You said, oh, yeah.
Don't be like Korah.
That's more of the story, ain't it? All right, let's get it started. Warning. I want to take this time to explain that this lesson and the lessons thereafter are not based on any one individual, whether in this assembly locally or abroad. These lessons were not developed by myself alone. Yes, the Father has something, if not all, to do with them. If these lessons hit certain points that you feel or believe has something to do with you, all praise to the Father. Take that knowledge and apply the solution to your life. Do not take anything personal and miss the message that is being given to help solidify your salvation. Rules that will be used for all lessons. Please keep your mic muted except when asking or answering a question. Use the mic to speak. There is a feature on Zoom in the meeting room where you can raise your hand if you have a question. Also, here in the assembly, if you have a question, raise your hand and speak into the mic for everyone to hear. All questions must be on the topic. You have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. If you pass your 60-second window, your mic will be muted for you. For those that are in the room, you also have 60 seconds to ask or answer a question. There is a mic at each table that can be used. All statements in the room must be limited to 20 seconds. The microphones on the table can be used to share with others that may not hear you online. These rules are due to time and the recordings of the lessons. These are live teachings. We must give the more enough time to complete the lesson. This will be mixed with discussion to help build one another. Please do not abuse the time. We left off. Let's see, where we left off. Are they dead yet? Yeah, they gone, right? They gone, right? So now we just getting past. Well, we got past the vindication part for Moses, right? All right. So now we at number 16, 30, and 39. As for the censors of these men who have sinned at the cost of their lives, let them be made into hammered plates as a covering for the altar. For they offered them before Yahuwah, and they became set apart. Oh, okay. Thus they shall be a sign to the people of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers, which those who were burned had offered. Anybody know why they? Yeah, that might be a little bit too deep. We won't go that deep. Yeah. Besides them siding with Korah, what will be another reason why that offering wasn't accepted? That incense. Oh. That's what you
They
wait on.
came with a hate in their heart, the heart
They had a
condition.
heart issue. Well, throw a little hint. What happened the first time somebody had some senses and did something they weren't supposed to? But what was the reason? They offered what? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Huh? It's a lot of. I don't know. We in the back alley in New York. Oh. She got it? Huh? You say what you said.
He was, see, threw me off track.
Oh, I'm sorry. The strange fire. We talking about strange fire.
We talked about strange fire. No, I forgot. You said you distracted me.
Oh man. All right. All right. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers which those who were burned had offered, and they were hammered out as a covering for the altar. You say what you was gonna say first. Yeah.
Brought out the point that these individuals did something that was unauthorized.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They unauthorized to do burning these censers before Yahuwah. But because they did it anyway, now the thing that they had became set apart unto Yahuwah. It can't be used for nothing else. So what did he do? He took it and melted it down, put it as a covering upon the tabernacle of witness. As a what? Sign.
As a sign. Right. So even though those who use them were sinners, the censers themselves have been created or set apart for worshiping Yahuwah. Oh yeah, I want to see what you was gonna say though. The people must never forget that only a descendant of Aharon could stand before the Father in the set apart office of priest. This will prove to be a costly sign to endure. Right? Recognizing and heeding the sign is very important. And honestly, before they had all kind of signs and red flags. The age 22, 26, what is that? Yeah. All right, that means for sign, right? It's a signal. You're looking at it being evidence, being a miracle or a token, right? A miracle in the form of a marvelous event manifesting a supernatural act of a divine agent, often with an emphasis on communicating a message. So like I was saying, they had all these signs way before any of this happened, didn't they? All right. Here's an example. Number 17, 1-5, right? Yahuwah spoke to Moses saying, and I say right here, this is another direct command from the Father to Moses, to the people, right? So this is an important step that many people overlooked, right? When Moses said something, they want to make it seem like it came directly from him, right? When you're dealing with someone in leadership, you have to look at who's giving the leader the information to give to you. That probably stops a lot of the grumbling. Speak to the people of Israel and get from them staffs, one for each father's house. From all their chiefs according to their father's house, 12 staffs. Write each man's name on his staff, and write Aharon's name on the staff of Levi. For there shall be one staff for the head of each father's house. Then you shall deposit them in the tent of meeting before the testimony, where I meet you. And the staff of the man whom I choose shall sprout. Thus I will make to cease from me the grumblings. Remember, this is, right? This is the Hebrew 85:19. It's telling now, right? I don't know why y'all say it like that. It's murmuring, right? With the sense to grumble. So again, they're still doing this. We already had the incident back in chapter 16, and they're still doing it. So it will cease from the grumblings of the people of Israel, which they grumble against you. All right, so continue on 6 through 9. Moses spoke to the people of Israel, and all their chiefs gave him staffs, one for each chief, according to their fathers' houses, 12 staffs. And the staff of Aharon was among their staffs. And Moses deposited the staffs before Yahuwah in the tent of the testimony. On the next day, Moses went into the tent of testimony, and behold, the staff of Aharon for the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds and produced blossoms, and it bore ripe almonds. Then Moses brought out all the staffs from before Yahuwah to all the people of Israel. And they looked, and each man took his staff. All right. Now that the Father vindicated Moses, now he turns his attention to Aharon, because Aharon's priestly authority had been challenged as well. The Father now showed all the people that Aharon still retained the authority to the exclusion of all other people who said they should have the same authority. The same tribe, same authority? Nah. So the Father told Moses to get a staff from the leader of each tribe and write the leader's name on it. Aharon was also to write his name on the tribal staff of Levi. Then all 12 staffs were placed in the tabernacle in front of the testimony where the Father would meet Moses and cause the staff of the legitimate priestly tribe to sprout like a tree. Now, the next day, Moses entered the tabernacle and saw that the staff of Aharon had not only sprouted, but had budded, blossomed, and produced almonds. When this irrefutable evidence was presented to the tribal leaders and the people, all they could do was silently accept what was going on without anything to say in Yahuwah's vindication of Aharon. And I gave an example. You know how you get caught in a lie and all of a sudden you have nothing to say. All right. For some of us, we try desperately to either justify why certain things were said and or done, or we try to justify why they still don't believe after seeing the truth for themselves. All this happened in these little couple of verses. Because remember, they just saw 250 people go down. And they still had a problem. Because you fix one problem, you still had another. They didn't get away with it with Moses, so they still thought they had a chance with Aharon. Right? Oh, yeah.
You know, but the other part I was saying earlier was basically is, even though these are signs for them, the one for Aharon is let you know is that the problem wasn't the tribe per se, meaning that though he picked that tribe, he still had someone specific in that tribe for that particular duty. Mm-hmm. So he's also letting them know that just because you're in that tribe doesn't mean you have the same rights and authority. Right. So they had to do a little bit extra in the Levite side. Uh-huh.
Because we can all share it. We can all be up there. Oh. Number 17, 10 to 13. And Yahuwah said to Moses, put back the staff of Aharon before the testimony to be kept as a sign for the rebels, that you may make an end of their grumblings against me, lest they die. Thus did Moses as Yahuwah commanded him, so he did. And the people of Israel said to Moses, behold, we perish. We are undone. We all are undone. Everyone who comes near to the tabernacle of Yahuwah shall die. Are we to perish? Yeah, who told them that? So they might not forget what they had learned, so that they already missed the message right there. The Father directed Aharon's staff to be retained in front of the testimony as a sign. Anybody say you was going to die, this is so you can remember what not to do. This will remind them not to grumble and question the Father's way of leadership. Like clockwork, the people overreacted and assumed that the presence of the staff would forever endanger anyone who even came close to the tabernacle. All of this because of the grumbling. It confused them. Case in point, you all remember this in number 16:11. Therefore, is it against Yahuwah that all your company have gathered together? What is Aharon that you grumble, right? Against him. And then Moses had to come back, they had to come back on Moses in number 16:13 and say, is it a small thing that you have brought us out of the land flowing with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness, that you must also make yourself a prince over us? And do you remember what I said? It said, I know the Father brought us out of slavery, but what about the food, right? I remember the food. They were mad for being taken out of their comfort zone. All right. So now they were scared that all these words are coming back to haunt them. Remember, throughout the month, I've said that you have to be careful of what you say and how you act. You never know when the Father's going to call you bluff. They won't. Yeah. All right. What does it mean to have sympathy? I know you didn't think we was going to go this whole thing without no definitions. Go ahead. Got to have some in there. It's a little bit more than I'm sorry. Come on, man.
Sympathy is to be able to see someone else's point of view, like you could feel for them, like a situation they've been through.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nanamana.
Oh, hi, Shalom.
Hello.
Are you there? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out I'm sorry. I don't understand. What did you say?
Right on the board.
What does sympathy mean?
To have sympathy isn't that to have a feeling or understanding of a particular situation, emotional situation that someone is going through?
Sort of, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Uh-huh. Who we got next? Oh, Yahusha and Dawood.
You have to have pity for a person.
Pity for a person. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
A misfortune
A misfortune? Okay.
for someone else.
All right. Anyone else? Go ahead.
I would think compassion would be a part of it.
It could be a synonym of it, yeah. Go ahead.
So it's an affinity, association, or relationship between persons or things where whatever affects one similarity affects another. It is a act or capacity of entering in or sharing the feeling or interest of another. Yeah, I'm gonna stop with that.
You gonna read all of them? Okay.
No, I'm gonna stop with that.
Yeah. I feel you, man. Feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. Yeah. All right. Commiseration is a sympathy and sorrow for the misfortunes of others, to have compassion. You know, say before pity, have comfort or get somebody's support. And something else that we're going to look at is empathy, kindness, and being kind-hearted, right? Or kind-heartedness. Remember we said last week about killing those you disagree with kindness, right? It's a real thing. But then you have an inclination to think or feel alike, emotional or intellectual accord, to be in sympathy with one's goals, a feeling of loyalty, a tendency to favor or support, or the act or capacity of entering into or sharing the feelings or interests of another. So what does it mean to be a sympathizer? If you got sympathy for somebody, you as a sympathizer, what are you doing? Huh? You're doing which one was on the board? So you're doing all of them on the board? So the sympathizers of an organization or a cause are the people who approve of it and support it. So you support what others have to say and or do, whether it be negative or positive, okay? Okay, okay. I got your support. So what does it mean to have empathy, which is I think a lot of people were actually defining and not. You gonna say it?
Well, I was just gonna give you you could get the definition, but it's literally someone that says, "Hey, I understand and I'm sensitive to what they're going through because I understand what they're going through."
Okay. This was on the, yeah. Anybody else? Nanamana?
Shalom, Mari. It has to do more, I think, with more the emotional ability to understand about like what other people are, like what they're going through, and like what they're feeling, from
Okay.
look at things from their viewpoint, and you can like you can almost put yourself in their place of what they're going through. You know how people say, "Yeah, I feel you on that." That's kind of like what it means, I think.
Yeah, I feel you. Go ahead.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling and a thought that you express with another person.
Okay. You ready? Oh, you gonna take it this time?
Dictionary definition. I'm just.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah, from my understand. Yeah, thank you. From my understanding, the difference between sympathy and empathy is that sympathy is like outside, so I feel bad for you, whereas empathy is more like I actually can understand what you're going for. You're putting yourself in their shoes.
So
one is external, one is internal.
there you go. You look as sympathy as the mental aspect of it, and empathy as the physical aspect of it. Go ahead.
The ability to understand and share the feelings of another.
The ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Strong echo. All right. You have a rapport with them, right? An understanding of, you're sensitive towards them, and you identify with them. But look, remember, just because of of a bunch of people agree on the same thing doesn't mean they're right. All right? Keep that in mind. So what empathy really means, empathy is the ability to emotionally understand what other people feel, see things from their point of view, and imagine yourself in their place. Essentially, it is putting yourself in someone else's position and feeling what they are feeling. Okay? Now, the difference between the two is empathy is shown in how much compassion and understanding we can give to one another, right? Yeah. Sympathy is more of a feeling of pity for another. I'm so glad this is the last one. I'm so glad. Empathy is our ability to understand how someone feels, while sympathy is our relief in not having the same problems. So understand, for what we've been talking about for these 5 weeks, you need to stay away from empathy when the father is dealing with somebody, okay? Now, unless you want to suffer what they suffer, I mean, by all means, go right ahead, all right? Let's get back to the story. Numbers 16 and 40. The censers are going to be set apart, right? This is to be a reminder to the people of Israel so that no outsider who is not of the descendants of Aharon should draw near to burn incense before Yahuwah, lest he become like Korah and his company, as Yahuwah said to him through Moses. So again, this is the stuff this is stuff that the Father told Moses to do, right? Just like in number 17, when the Father told Moses what to do, Moses didn't make this decision on his own, okay? They still were talking like he did. Now, throughout this month, we talked about when someone is going through it with Yah, it is best to keep yourself out of it, lest you suffer the same wrath the Father executes on them. These people brought destruction on themselves. So the lesson is that to all who break the law and neglect the Father's word, choose and love death. Now, we're talking about people that are in this walk and are doing this thing willingly, all right? They're being willingly disobedient, okay? I know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. You know you ain't supposed to do it, all right? So that's your cross. No, you can't get no empathy or sympathy from me. You're going to willingly do it. Deuteronomy 10, 20 to 22. You shall fear Yahuwah your Elohim. You shall serve him and hold fast to him. This is the Hebrew 1692. This is the Bach, all right. It's a prime root to, i.e., cling or adhere to, okay? This is basically what we're saying hold fast, right? And by his name you shall swear. And this is the H7650. You're not swearing, all right? It's a Shabbat, it's a prime root. Make a statement. Give a pledge, okay?
That's
I was about to say something too. You're gonna get me caught up, see? All right. No. All right. He is your praise. Remember, you're supposed to be giving him the praise through your good and your bad now. He is your Elohim, who has done for you these great and terrifying things that your eyes have seen. So again, they already know what to expect, yet they did the opposite, right? Your fathers went down to Egypt 70 persons, and now Yahuwah your Elohim has made you as numerous as the stars of heaven or Shamayim. In Deuteronomy 30, 19 to 20, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessings and a curse. Therefore, choose life, that you and your offspring may live, loving Yahuwah your Elohim, obeying his voice, and what again? Holding fast to him, for he is your life and length of days, that you may dwell in the land that Yahuwah swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them, all right? This is all the stuff they already knew. They already knew all this. So when you choose to do the things that your father will have you to do, you're choosing what? Okay. If you choose not to do the things the Father will have you to do, you're choosing what? Okay. So when you choose death, you no longer belong to the Father. Huh? I mean, is that? Huh? Now, I'm not talking about the people who are just in this walk that came in here yesterday and You know, they still learning some stuff. Oh, you got to wear the fringes every day. No, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about you've been in here a long time. What can I finish my? I was talking. Is that what you do with using the church? You just cut me off. This is disobedience at its finest right here. I don't think anybody read any of this story.
You're allowed to talk to church. And one person talking. See, one person talking. Man, it's fun.
Thank you for the 5th week. I don't even remember what I was saying. What you gonna say?
I was just gonna say he's the Elohim of the living and not the dead.
Okay.
That was it. That was all they wanted me to say.
That was well worth the cut me off. That was well worth it. Hallelujah. Choose this day who you will serve, because apparently they are chose. All right. John 8:31-38. Goodness gracious. The truth will set you free for some, not in front. So Yahushua said to the Jews, or Yahudi, who had believed him, if you abide in my word, you are truly my disciples, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. They answered him, we are offspring of Abraham and have never been enslaved to anyone. How is it that you say you will become free? Yeah. Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who practices sin is a slave to sin. The slave does not remain in the house forever. The son remains forever. So if the son sets you free, you will be free indeed. They still didn't get it, even when he said that. I know that you are offspring of Abraham, yet you seek to kill me because my words finds no place in you. I speak of what I have seen with my father, and you do what you heard from your father. You see what I'm saying? If you're just going to be willing about it, my father ain't your father. Not only does the practice of sin prove that one is a slave to sin, but the practice of sin actively enslaves. Now, last year we talked about, remember that dream I have closing the door? Remember the outcome of the dream? No, I'm not reading that again. I read it like 30 times. The outcome of the dream was to make sure that you get rid of the things that lead you astray, right? Get rid of the things that you're still dealing with that will leave that door open. Some of us still have to learn how to lay our burdens down. You carry around a weight that's not meant to be carried by you. So what this is saying, what Yahushua was saying, is that if they were truly the offspring of Abraham, they wouldn't seek to destroy him. So if you truly love the Father, you wouldn't seek to find validation outside of him.
So I can't just say when
Say that again.
If you truly love the Father, you wouldn't seek to find validation outside of him. No. Am I preaching? This is the last one. I got to go out with a bang. Is it really? You are the father. You are of your father, the devil. The devil, not the devil. All right, this is 8:39-43. They answered him, and Abraham is our father, Yahushua said to them. If you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did.
Stop.
But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from Elohim. But now you seek to kill. But this is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works your father did. They said to him, we were not born of sexual immorality. We have one father, even Elohim. Wait a minute, which one is it now? Yahushua said to them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I came from Elohim and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he who sent me. Who else said this? It's only one person said it. Moses. O'Shea. Yeah, remember he said that to them? Huh? He said, yeah. They said it twice, didn't he? Okay. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. So you understand there is a lack of the need to heed, which is to listen, to hear, or pay close attention to, and usually respond in conformity. Now, they conform to aspire to go against what Moses and Aharon said, right? Yeah.
It wasn't coming out the right person's mouth. He wasn't coming out the Sanhedrin.
Oh, is that what it
He
was?
didn't have the deflectorates on. He didn't have his ZZ singing to the ground. And he didn't have his fancy clothes on coming out. And he
Okay.
recognized by the high priest.
Oh. I could have swore we did a lesson that said you can't look at the person, you got to hear the message. That's what I thought we agreed on, right? Oh. Wow. Now, there is a possibility of change, even with the different spiritual circumstances that people battle with throughout this walk, okay? You still have a chance to get things together, unless you just refuse to listen to the Father. If that's just in your will to not do or listen to what the Father says, hey, Case in point, Jeremiah 6:10, to whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ears are uncircumcised, meaning they're stubborn and they're unwilling. They cannot listen. Behold, the word of Yahuwah is to them an object of scorn. They take no pleasure in it. Right? Yeah, you didn't hear nothing I just said. I got it. John 8:44-47. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I tell the truth, you do not believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I tell the truth, why do you not believe me? Whoever is of Elohim hears the words of Elohim. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not of Elohim. So remember that whole thing, the Father would know who is his? Y'all see how this is coming? Okay. I'll be doing a little bit. Like we said before, it's one thing to say that you're the chosen people, right? It's another thing to act like it. The descendants of Abraham do what Abraham did. That is, they believed and they obeyed the Father. Always remember to respond in faith to the word and do what he says. It really is that easy to do what he says. I didn't say that it was going to be easy, but just for your part to actually do it, that's the easy part. At least it should be. Yeah. Maybe if Lamar would say it sound better. Oh, okay. Yeah. What does it mean to be in delusion?
Delusional means to believe a lie that like you made up yourself. So like if you believe something that is clearly not true, but like you 100% believe it in your mind. No matter what other people are saying or seeing.
Okay. Who we got up there first? Who was first? Nanamana, go ahead.
Shalom, Mari. I believe that delusion means to be confused or conflicted with information.
You could be confused. Go ahead.
It could be a false belief.
Yashadod?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a false reality. I was gonna say the same thing.
You got one? That's behind you.
So delusion is BBF.
It's a what now? Okay. Travis.
Willful ignorance.
It's what? Say that again.
Willful ignorance.
In a way.
Hey, Shalom, excuse, I meant to say BBL.
Oh. Wow. Y'all really tripping out on this last lesson, Korah.
this is delusion. It ain't real.
Who had? Joseph, you had your hand up?
Yeah, sure. That's a good one, Malachi. Yeah, believing a lie as if it's the truth, all the way through and through.
Okay.
I didn't know you saw me.
Yeah. You got a hand pointed behind you.
Okay, but I looked it up. It's a false belief or judgment about external reality held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary.
I guess you don't need it. We don't need you. Right now.
I need you.
You all from the same tribe. She can do it. False belief or judgment about external reality held despite incontrovertible evidence to the contrary. It says dissension in the ranks. I got it. Occurring especially in mental conditions. So mentally, you ain't right? So it's a mistaken belief. Well, mentally, you know. It's a mistaken belief. It's a misconception, right? It's a fallacy, which we'll get to in a second. It's an illusion, a figment of your imagination, right? Or because this is a mental thing, it can be self-deception, okay? Or it's the act of deluding or the state of being deluded, right? To lead into error, mislead the judgment of, deceive, trick, or delude by false promises. And similarity, we have all the other stuff that we've been saying, right? Same thing. Now, a belief or altered reality that is persistently held despite evidence or agreement to the contrary, generally in reference to a mental disorder, right? So you didn't believe the lie, and that lie then became a part of you, right? So don't lose sight of what happened. Clearly, this is what they did, right? Number 16 and 41. But on the next day, all the congregation of the people of Israel grumbled. They did it again. Grumbled against Moses and against Aharon, saying, "You have killed the people of Yahuwah." I think I would have started walking around the mountain. I think I would have been gone.
You did it, man.
No, I would have been gone.
You did it.
Numbers 14, 2-4. And all the people of Israel grumbled against Moses and Aharon. They did it before. The whole congregation said to them, "Would that we have died in the land of Egypt,
Died in America.
or would that we had died in this wilderness? Why is Yahuwah bringing us into this land to fall by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will become a prey. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt?" Yeah, because that's where they're comfortable. And they said to one another, let us choose a leader and go back to Egypt. Remember, we talked about them wanting a leader? They didn't even want the father to do it. Remember? They refused to correct themselves even in the face of danger brought on by their own doing. Their own mouth is the one getting them in trouble. And that's exactly what's happening to some of y'all. I'm sorry to say that, but your own mouth is... I'm trying to just be sympathetic here, okay? But some of y'all, your own mouths is the one that's getting y'all in trouble, okay? It's a mix. Being stiff-necked and in denial, all right? We defined a couple of lessons ago what denial is. Denial is one issue that is deep-rooted. Now, there were two types of denials that we looked at. One that denies the truth, the other that refuses hearing and or doing something that can help them. These people fell in both categories. Being in denial is not a solution to your problem. It only tends to create problems instead of fixing them. Ultimately, that is the problem. Nobody wants to be corrected of their issues. They only seek to correct everyone else. Exactly why these three men ended up dying along with these other men, right? Oh, I know what you did, but don't tell me what I'm doing, all right? Yeah. Separation is key. All right, so here we go. Number 16, 42-45. And when the congregation had assembled against Moses and against Aharon, they turned toward the tent of meeting, and behold, the cloud covered it. And the steam of Yahuwah appeared. And Moses and Aharon came to the front of the tent of meeting, and Yahuwah spoke to Moses, saying, "Get away from the midst of this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment."
I'm about to do my thing.
He rolling up his sleeves, because apparently,
Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
yeah, he's like, could you imagine the father like this? He just fidgeting. Yeah, go ahead and get away. You might want to move.
Watch this. Let me do my thing.
Before it got to this point, the people should have done what's called go one separate way, right? This is when you leave in a different direction for someone with whom one has just traveled or spent time. These people just witnessed 250 people vanish, and they still had a problem? When is it a good time to recognize that maybe the problem is you and not the father or anyone else that you're dealing with? Now, that's a rhetorical question, right? You think about that on yeah. What they said was based on a fallacy, okay? Now, that is trickery, that is deception. Because I will admit they were deceived, but we figured out why they were deceived, right? It is a false or mistaken idea, right? An often plausible argument using false or invalid inference, a conclusion reached on the basis of evidence and reason, okay? There's also a failure in reasoning, which renders an argument invalid, all right? And it's faulty reasoning, misleading or unsound agreement. Because remember, just because a whole bunch of y'all agreed don't mean you're right. And then we did all that before with the delusion, okay? It's the same thing, okay? So now you need to heed the warning. Number 1646, and Moses said to Aharon, "Take your censer and put fire on it from off the altar and lay incense on it and carry it quickly to the congregation and make atonement for them. For wrath has gone out from Yahuwah, the plague has begun."
But what we have done, the beatings now begin.
This is what you call a whooping of whoopings. It happened before, though. Numbers 11:33. While the meat was yet between their teeth, before it was consumed, the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against the people, and Yahuwah struck down the people with a very great plague. Right? Have you noticed that most of this stuff happened in Numbers, and they still didn't get it?
That's how we do, baby. I don't believe my lying eyes.
It's like all the children were in a line getting whoopings one by one, and they still.
It ain't gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen to me.
While you're sitting there waiting on your turn, it ain't gonna happen to you. You're delusional, okay? And you're in denial. You about to get whooped just like everybody else. But they still stayed there. They stood there and then waited for it to happen, all right? Number 16, 47 to 48. So Aharon took it as Moses said and ran into the midst of the assembly. And behold, the plague had already begun among the people. And he put on the incense and made atonement for the people. You see how this incense thing works now with the proper authority? Oh, okay. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stopped. Now, those who died in the plague were 14,700. Besides those who died in the affair of Korah. So if you would have kept your mouth shut and went on your separate way like you were supposed to. Hey, I'm just saying.
You did this to us, Moses.
No, just because the ground opened up don't mean that that's the only way that you was going to die, right? Yeah. And Aharon returned to Moses at the entrance of the tent of meeting where the plague was stopped. Aharon, in effect, was appearing among the people to intercede in prayer for them. All right? Same thing your mother or your grandmother would do for you when you did something wrong, right?
Somebody pray.
Especially if your father or your grandfather was in the house. Mine did, because I was bad. Mother or grandmother would pray the men and wouldn't kill you. Lord, now you know he's just young. Don't have your my grandfather was mean. All right. Again, Moses and Aharon had to rescue the people out of the hands of the Father. One more again, right? Because they just don't listen. All right, now. This last slide. All right, now this is a dream that I had that was of significance to heed the warning. Oh, who got a question? That was Shah Daoud.
Sorry, that was a mistake. I hit that by accident.
Oh, okay. All right. You said you ready. Yeah, so I want you to listen to this dream here and understand how you need to heed the warning. Now, first couple of sentences may be a little sensitive for young ears, so all of those online, you got your children with you, you might want to have them hold their ears for a couple seconds. All right? No, I don't cuss on air. All right. Yeah.
My keeping like, oh.
Yeah, right. I mean, I can tell the truth, you know. All right, before I tell you that, let me tell you the first part. Okay, so the first part of the dream, I had a dream before this one that kind of put everything together. So what happened is, me and Mitch McCall were in the car, and we were going to this school I used to go to, and if you want to look it up and make sure I'm telling the truth, it was called Orchard Hill Farm School. It's in Tinley Park, Illinois. You know how to spell Tinley? Oh, okay. Well, just type it in, it might come up. Orchard Hill Farm School. Now, remember when I told you there are different ways you can tell the Father is talking to you? One way you can tell is if it feels real, if it doesn't feel like a dream. This did not feel like a dream. I can feel the car moving. I can feel it, the tires hitting the rocks on the gravel. I felt myself touching the earth when I got out the car. I actually went into the school. Now, keep in mind, this school is abandoned. This school's been abandoned for almost 20 years. I went into the school. I can smell how old it was. I can smell the mildew. I can feel the wood. So it felt real. All right. So that's pretty much what he wanted me to get out of that, when he wanted me to actually feel what was going on, which made up for this one. Okay. All right. I be having some weird dreams. I really do. Laying in the sand. All right, so I had a dream that I was either a cop or mall security. A man was having an argument and pulled out a gun. I pulled out my gun and I told him to drop his. Yeah, something like that. There were people around him, but I had to shoot him. The only place I could shoot without potentially hitting anyone else was in his head. He, of course, died, so I thought at the time, I thought he died. He was laying on the ground, and we covered him with a sheet. While he was on the ground, he was in a fetal position. Keep that in mind. This was in the mall, okay? So all this part right here took place in the mall. And remember, the ground was like subway tiles. It was white. It was bright white, okay? All of a sudden, the scene changed to a beach where the man was halfway uncovered. Not sure if he was naked, but he was laying on the sand on the beach in that same fetal position. You could see his legs. That was the part that was uncovered. So half of his legs were uncovered. The thing was, I was next to him. I was laying in the opposite direction as the man in the same fetal position. So let's think about it. He's on one side in his fetal position. I'm on the other side in that I'm mirroring him, okay? I'm mirroring his position. All right. I thought he was there, but I could hear him breathing. Then I woke up. That's how quick that one was, all right? What I got from this was that man was me. It was the man I was supposed to bury and let die. Yet he was still breathing because I refused to let him go. Simply put, I still had something in me that needs to die. And unfortunately, at the time, I wasn't letting it die. So the first dream, what that represented was my past and how old it was and how I needed to abandon it. You see that? You see how that came together? So trust I'm letting it die now because, you talk to me like that, I got to hear you. This is the type of warning you really don't want from the Father because it's really a last-ditch effort to get you to hear and understand that what you're doing needs to stop. Now, This wasn't favoritism because I'm a Mormon, right? I've seen the Father tell people just in the walk about themselves and how they need to change. Even though I'm nobody special, the Father did use this as a witness, a warning, and a learning tool, right? Through me, he's showing you how to hear and react to what he tells you. This may not be the end, but things are going to happen that you need to prepare for. That will show him who is his, okay? I told you this, because of who I am, it's going to be dramatic, my dreams and stuff and what he says to me. It may not be that dramatic for you, but in any case, you need to listen. And you need to actively understand the signs that he's giving you, right? Even in your dreams, all right? All right. Any questions, comments pertaining to the lesson? Go ahead. Okay, I got you. Yeah. No, you go ahead.
I want to go back to when you mentioned empathy, having empathy for others. And it's not a good thing if that other person is going through something or the Father is dealing with that person. Right. And we shouldn't have empathy.
Well, I'm just saying it's not that you shouldn't have empathy, but remember, you want to keep your hand out of the way when he's dealing with somebody, right?
How will we know that the Father is dealing with that person?
Oh, yeah. How easy is it? Yeah.
Usually when someone's going through something,
you can tell.
You can tell something's happening, but the only way you do that is you ask questions. You know, just someone just tell you I'm going through something, you need to know why they're going through it. What happened? A lot of times we don't want to ask questions because we think we prying in their business. But sometimes you got to do that to figure out what's going on to help them get out of it or to help them see themselves. Now, if you give them that advice and they don't take heed to that advice and they're still going through, you've done what you're supposed to do. Now, you leave it to the Father's hands. Now, if they're, as they're suffering, I know you have some type of sympathy, and if you can relate, you have some type of empathy, but as the Father if the Father's dealing with them, that's enough for all of us. Because why? He knows best. Then, when y'all gets done, either is going to change them or break them. Something's going to happen. But at the end of the day there's nothing wrong with the empathy part, but you got to make sure that when you communicate with that person, because they need to be as honest with you too, because sometimes some people conveniently leave out some information, you know, to do things. What I'm getting at is, but that's how you do it. And then you just pray about it. You know what I mean? And then if that, you still have counsel. Other people can get involved too. And lastly, you pray about it and see what he tells you. He might tell you, hey, it's my doing right now. I need you to stand fast. And you say, you know what, Father, I'll stand fast on the other side of the room.
You separate yourself.
Well, I thought you was my brother. You see me going through like this, you ain't gonna help me out.
Separate yourself. Go ahead.
They told me come out from among and be separate.
I had a dream very similar to your dream. And this was like when I first got into the walk. I think I probably was in the walk maybe every bit of 2 or 3 weeks. And I was asleep and I saw 2 of me. One of me dug the grave and then stood behind the other one and hit the other one in the head with the shovel, and they fell into the grave.
Oh.
And started covering the other one up. And I started laughing because, you know, I woke up laughing. I literally woke up laughing because I was like, what type of dream was that? Because I didn't understand it. I had only been in the walk for maybe about 2 or 3 weeks. So as, you know, I progressed, I did start to understand that dream.
No, that would have got me up quick. Like this one did. It got me up quick. Anyone else? Go ahead.
So Aki was bringing out something about sympathy and empathy, right? So what is it like? Can you explain the non-apology for edification purpose and not argumentative purpose?
Non-apology? What do you mean?
All right, so just to keep it generalized, keep it frank, we all beautiful people on this earth. You ever heard of 3 men? Well, I would say 2 men, Jay-Z and Nas. They made a song called "I'm Sorry, But I'm Not Sorry." That's like a non-apology apology.
Okay, but what are you regarding it to? You talking about an individual person?
All right, so you was going over empathy and sympathy, having like you, if a man have is sympathetic or have empathy for somebody, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. I got to. I feel you, sis. I feel you, bro. I feel you, sis. But I got to go do this.
Yeah. I mean, well, relate that to the Father is what I was saying. In terms of you can sympathize with what someone's going through, but that doesn't mean you have to put yourself in their shoes. Yeah, you don't have to become a sympathizer with that person. Just like with the question what the elder had said and what Maury was saying, if you can get to the heart of their problem and you realize that what they're doing is something the Father told them not to do, and now they're dealing with the result of that disobedience, that's something you don't want to get yourself into. So you need to separate yourself, and you can be sorry, but not sorry. You can sympathize with what they're going through. Hey, look, you can't. Well, I can't even say you can pray for them because now Father cut you off on that end too.
You gonna ask me to stop doing what I'm
Yeah. See, now you can't do that.
Father, let your will be done.
Yeah. Father, let your will be done. That's what it is. We have a natural tendency to want to help somebody. But when it comes to this walk and when the Father is dealing with somebody, sometimes you got to take a step back. It ain't your fight. You got to let it go. If he tell you let it go, let it go. Or else you're going to get the same result. It says, Maury, thou will. Go ahead, Maury, thou will.
Just a little clarity on the sympathy and empathy, and also I like to include compassion. Sympathy is based upon what you're going to do for the situation. Empathy is okay. I'm going to take time to listen and hear what your situation is. Compassion is when the person, is willing to comply with the counsel that you give them for the healing that they need or the understanding that they need to come forth. So we got to be careful as believers that we don't become an enabler, trying to be sympathetic, empathetic, and compassionate. And this is why what we run situations off with people that are going through, we run it off the word. We always got to find that situation in the word because everything is there. And that's the end. That's the beginning and the end of all. When we're trying to be empathetic, sympathetic, and compassionate, we don't want to become an enabler.
All right. Hallelujah. Anyone else? All right. We got to get this Hebrew class going. If all hearts and minds are clear. No. All right. You got it. Let us sing.
Barukata Yahuwah Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Father, we thank you for blessing us with your word. We ask, Father, that you help us and that we may walk according to your plan in our lives. Let your word be on our minds, heart, and our beings, that we may be a doer of your words. We ask, Father, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, that you bless everyone that is here in this assembly, that they will have a blessed and most prosperous day and evening, and that everyone will get home safely. We also ask that you bless the meal that we're about to receive, and will also bless us in our Hebrew class. And we ask for your presence, Most High Elohim. And we give you all esteem, honor, and praise for all that you are and all that you're doing for us. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Amen.